Welcome to the Friday edition of Burn It Down with Kim Brown, the safe space where we can still take out our twist outs. Twists. If we happen to be ready just a few minutes late. Yes, this is a comfortable space. This is a judgment-free zone. We don't judge you if you're running late. Kim Brown, we don't judge you if you still taking out twist at 5:04. Kim Brown, you know why? Because the Fire Fam is tight like that, and I appreciate y'all allowing me to be my regular self. You guys do not hold me. You hold me to some standards of professionalism, but I appreciate y'all letting some of them standards slide. Thank you so very much. I'd like to say what's up to everybody who's checking in with us. What's going on? Who we got up in here? We got 420 J Blaze. Hey guys, real quick. Do me a favor, Fire Fam. Join me in wishing our sister a happy belated birthday, Franny France. It was Franny French's birthday this week, everybody. So join me in wishing Franny French a happy birthday all the way from here to you, Franny France, where you are at. On the West Coast, we love you, sweetie. Thank you so much for all your love and all your support. Fire Fam, show Franny France some love. Yes. Turn up, everybody. What's going on with my bruv, Truck Diesels in the building, my sis? Tasia's in the building. Hi, Tasia. What's up, Alicia? Alicia, actually, you caught me in the middle of I'm sitting here because y'all know y'all know I did smoke a couple of J's today. So as I sat down for showtime, I said, hey, wasn't there something I was supposed to be doing beyond the show? The show goes without saying. The show is my child. I know what my child is at all times. But I was like, what in the hell was I supposed to be doing? What the thing I'm supposed to be doing is dropping our good sis Alicia's cash apps in the joints because, like I said, y'all, I said it last week. I told Alicia to drop all her cash information in the chat, and she said she was having some troubles because I guess I don't know what the fuck YouTube be on sometimes. So this is her cash. That's her cash app. Find that. Do that. Find that. And the Venmo. Can you put the Venmo in the chat, darling? I'm sorry. I'm deeply apologetic. If you're able to put the Venmo, like put a little slash or something, so YouTube don't be acting like no big hoes. Hey, Courtney the SLP. Hey now. Thank you, sweetheart. Courtney just dropped us some love. Thank you, my darling. She did that via Cash App, $BIDWKB. Listen, we appreciate the love. We want you guys to share the love. Let's drop our sis Alicia some love too. And I want to ask you guys a question real quick before we get into the meat and potatoes of the program. We're still a small channel, right? We are out here trying to grow, but we have been very blessed and very fortunate that we have people like you all who have been supporting us so much. And I'm trying to figure out a way for us to give back. I mean, we do redistribute some of the donations that you guys give us, but y'all know, and please correct me if I'm way out of pocket, because I can be ignorant about some things, but correct me if I'm wrong here. But so in certain immigrant communities, right? Our Asian brothers and sisters, I think our Latino brothers and sisters. Shout out to the sis in the comments the other day who checked me. She was like, "Girl, you don't got to say Latinx." She said Latinx is some think tank shit. I'm cool with being called Latino. Okay, fuck it. We back to Latino. Let's go. So the Asian immigrant community, the Latino immigrant community, some of our Asian diaspora family members who come here, like, don't they do like a pot, right? Everybody chips in X amount of dollars into the pot every month, and then at the end of the month, the pot go to somebody, and then everybody, it starts all over again, but everybody gets a chance at the pot at some point. How can we do something like that here? Like, I want to see it in the chat, and I'm gonna review this and then take everyone's suggestions under consideration, because how I was semi envisioning this is that first Friday of the month, right? Because the rent be due. And so first Friday of the month, a member of the Fire Fam, designated person, or maybe everybody, I don't know how we should do this, but either one or several people can please put their donation links into the chat and into the comments where people can find them. And then we collectively, us here at the show also included, contribute to that person or that cause or something like that. Help me work this out. Help me, massage this a little bit. But I think that we have such a community here that if we, even in small ways, even if it's just a few dollars, I mean, shit, couldn't you use a few dollars? Yeah, of course you could use a few dollars. Why? Because gas is costing out here. Food is costing out here. Everything is costing out here. So I think we all could use just a little bit of help. So drop your thoughts about my very rough idea of how the Burn It Down with Kim Brown Fire Fam can help one another out during these extremely, extremely trying times. And indeed, you guys, the times are indeed trying. Real quick, let me give some love. Who is this? Of course, Courtney the SLP. We love you, Courtney. Thank you, baby. You're stupendous. We did get a new patron, Mariam. Thank you so much for your love and support and your patronage. And guys, we're really excited because today did a test run order of our merch. Merch is looking kind of crispy. The merch is looking kind of crispy. Like, we are pretty happy with how this looks. So In the very near future, I know y'all say, Kim, would you shut up with your lies? No, I'm not lying this time. I mean it. I mean it for real. We have the merch forthcoming. The shit's looking kind of crispy. I'm just saying. And I know you want to get your BIDWKB swag so you could be out here pimping in these here streets, right? And I want you to be pimping in these here streets fashionously. Fashionously. Whatever. Fashionably, fascistly, not fascistly, but fashionably, yes, preferred, yes. We prefer the fashionably, yes, not the fascist. Listen, nothing. Anyway, so there's that. So, and another thank you to Susan. Did I already thank Susan last show? If I didn't, if I did, either way, Susan, thank you again so much for your generous donation via PayPal. We appreciate that so much. All right, guys. So coming up into this segment, we've got several things going on. Now y'all know I don't even know why Joe Biden and Chuck Schumer and them even bothered to put up that weak ass vote on the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. And that's not no disrespect to the act or the policies it proposed. It just, they knew, them niggas knew that shit wasn't gonna pass. I guess they wanted everybody on the record. All right, cool. Well, the Republicans have doubled and tripled and quadrupled down to let y'all know that they ain't shit and they don't give a fuck if you know that they ain't shit. Kirsten Sinema also doubled and tripled down, letting y'all know, reminding y'all that she don't care if y'all don't think she ain't shit. She doubled and quadrupled down that she ain't shit, right? So I don't know what all that performance was for from the Biden administration specifically. Obviously not the activists and the people that work very hard out here on a local level and on a state level to preserve the vote, like our good sis Shirley. Shirley's out here fighting the brilliant fight in Indiana, getting people registered to vote, and I can only imagine the obstacles that people are facing in red states and even in some blue states alike with getting the vote. But at the end of the day, Joe Biden and Mitch McConnell and the white male press, corporate press structure that goes to regurgitate their bullshit, they all look at non-white people as other. It don't matter. It don't matter how many generations of slavery your people endured, which means they were born here on this continent, in this land, this colony of America. No, there you will always be other. You're never going to be American enough, and that is a bipartisan sentiment, and a sentiment shared by, I'd say, racist white America, right? So there's that. I'm gonna talk about that at the end of the show. I'm gonna talk about that at the end of the show because I thought that was hilarious. Something decidedly less hilarious is the treatment that a lot of our brothers and sisters are experiencing behind the wall. Our people who are incarcerated, our people who are locked up. They have still been dealing with horrific conditions that were there pre-pandemic, but that have been drastically exasperated since the outbreak of COVID. And I wanted to take a look at a couple of stories. We're going to take a check-in of the latest of the Rikers Island hunger strike, where over 200 incarcerated people, many of them, by the way, not convicted of anything. They're there on pretrial detention, which is some bullshit. Can you fucking imagine being locked up on Rikers Island? You ain't been convicted of shit. You ain't pled guilty to shit. You just there because you cannot afford bail during a pandemic, and you know the New York Prison Authority ain't tending to the health needs of those behind the wall like they should be. So the people who are there at Rikers, 200 of them at least, have decided to undergo a hunger strike. We're going to check in with that. And I also want us to check in with the story of a young man out in California by the name of Jelani Lavelle. Black Lives Matter LA, I believe, has been part of this, and I think it's been covered. But I wanted to bring you the story of this young man, this young black guy who was in jail. He was in jail. I think he had already been sentenced. He was waiting to be transported to another facility. And he was in lockdown. He was in solitary 23 hours a day. How did he die? Of a heroin overdose, heroin laced with fentanyl. He didn't have no contact with other inmates. How did he get the drugs? I'm sorry, would you say the correctional officers brought the drugs in? Of course they fucking did. Of course they did. So we'll get into that also. Plus, a story that Courtney sent me that, Courtney, this still, like, it rips my heart out of my chest, literally. The horrific, tragic murder of Jason Walker in Fayetteville, North Carolina, the 37-year-old black man who was shot dead in front of his home by an off-duty police deputy. And the fact that the cops in Fayetteville have already like switched up their story a couple times, nigga, you already know what time it is. It is cover up time, baby. It is protect and serve the murderers of the members of our community. So we're going to take a look at that coming up in just a bit. But guys, do me a favor before we get started. If you have not already subscribed, please take a moment, push the subscribe button, come join us over here. We're just a few, maybe a couple of dozen subscribers short of hitting, to me, which I think is a very exciting benchmark. Again, because you know, when you don't have nothing and you get a little something, you're like, oh shit, look what I got. Right, I can fit it in the palm of my hand. No, so we're just a couple of dozen subscribers short of 2,500 subscribers for the channel. Wow, yay! I'm so excited about that. So if you're brand new, please hit subscribe. Help us get to this very important milestone. We would certainly appreciate it. And follow us places around the internet, everybody, at BIDWKB, Instagram, Facebook. We're on the Twitch. Hello, Northern Witch, over there on Twitch, who's helping us out. And I think we're close to hitting some milestones over there on Twitch also. So if you are passing by over there on Twitch, would you mind following us, subscribing to the Twitch channel at BIDWKB? We certainly appreciate it. I've got some ideas for some potential Twitch streams. It involves a combination of like media critique and like listening to old music. I don't know what the rules over there at Twitch are exactly, but we will figure those out. Because I think I'd like to get into some other things. Hello, Tyler Hackner. Hello, Susan. I'm so happy to see you here for the live broadcast. Kev Z247. What's up, bruh? Lewis Kang. What's up, bruh? Who else we got up in here? We got everybody. Afraid not. Afraid not. Afraid not. Afraid not. Afraid not. Every time I look at that lamp, afraid not, it always brings a huge smile to my face. I'm like, that shit is so cool. And a hard, hey, baby, Mark S. What's up, sir? Welcome. Feminist News Network. Welcome. Come through. I love this. There's plenty of space in here, everybody. We are social distancing. The first motherfucker to let that mask slip from under that nose. Chuck Diesel, get him out of here. Get him out of here. We're not playing that shit. We're not playing that no mask and shit. And here, we are scared of COVID. You can call us the COVID scaredy cats. Bitch, I am afraid of the COVID. I love all you tough guys and girls and non-binaries out there who are not scared of COVID. I'm terrified of COVID. So anyway. But you know who's also terrified of COVID, and justifiably so? The children of our nation. And for reasons I don't understand. I actually do understand. But for dramatic effect, for reasons I don't understand, people seem to act like they don't understand what, of course, the children need to be in school. All the mental health anguish that the children have been enduring over the past 2 years during this pandemic. Virtual learning is just not working. It's just not doing very well. Okay. Pause. Anybody ask the kids what they want? Now, I know some people cynically would be like, well, of course, kids would say they would want to stay home. And yes, you cynic ass Generation X person, yes, you would say that because yes, we would have done shit if they would have presented me with the remote option in the year 1990 and 4, bitch. You didn't never see me in school. I didn't never showed up to school ever. I might have come for practice. I might have come for track practice and then I'm out. But these kids is interested in learning. They are interested in learning, and I applaud that, and I love that about them, okay? And the kids understand, unlike a lot of adults, apparently, who are supposed to be looking out for their best interests, the children understand how respiratory diseases work, and they understand how communicable diseases work, and they understand that if they are being forced into in-person learning without adequate masks and being forced into schooling environments where air filtration is a problem, cleanliness is a problem, absences of bus drivers and teachers, and the inability to staff classrooms with substitutes. It's a problem, right? It sounds like you might need to close fucking school because there seem to be too many distractions and way too many high hurdles to get over in order to keep this in-school person learning charade going, to whose benefit only? To that of the business class, to that of the corporations, because they need those parents to be at work. And the parents can't be at work if they're at home taking care of sick children or sick family members, right? Who may have contracted COVID by extension through the kids, because the kids are vectors of nastiness, and you guys know this, and you know this, and I'm sure your children are lovely, and I'm sure that they have at least 3 active communicable diseases on their hands alone right now. But I wanted to take a look, if we could, let's cue up this here A1 for me today. So I think it was last week I told you guys that the Oakland Unified School District, their students had come together and had organized. They got themselves together as a group. They sent out a petition. They let the Oakland Unified School District know straight up, if y'all don't get us N95 and K95 masks, if you don't have consistent testing available for students and staff, we're going to walk the fuck out. Okay? And guess what the kids did? Tunde, let's take a look at A1, please.
Chopper 5 hovering over Oakland, this caravan showing concern from the teachers, students, and the parents inside the cars.
I just feel frustrated because a lot of kids are still coming to school even after they know that they have COVID.
Zoli goes to Oakland Tech. She was going to skip school along with hundreds of others, but she decided not to. A very hard decision. Her dad agrees.
I hear her go back and forth of, wanting to be in school, wanting to learn, wanting to do her assignment to get good grades, but also the next hour, next day, worried about her own safety. And, are we exchanging grades for a life-threatening illness?
Today, students in the Oakland Unified School District ditched their desks to demand action. Bridges Academy, Acorn Woodland, and United for Success Academy are all joining forces. 5th grade teacher Zania Gango-Patahay says it's all financial.
I think that this is very financially motivated. I think that the way that the system is set up, where having student bodies in physical classrooms is the way that schools are funded, is very problematic and particularly life-threatening during COVID.
At her school, she says nearly half of the students were out last week because of COVID. Students and teachers say they have 3 simple demands: provide weekly tests, add more outdoor spaces for students to safely eat, and fairly distribute masks to all schools.
And those that aren't getting the same number of masks per student. So some sites are getting 5 per student, some are getting 1 per student.
Now, we reached out to the district again today. We haven't heard back, but yesterday a spokesperson said that the district has a robust testing system but cannot do thousands of weekly tests without support from the state and Alameda County. The district also saying it's been installing more covered outdoor eating spaces since the fall at several schools, and they plan to do more, but materials have been on back order.
Okie dokie. Well, when the materials are off back order and the necessary PPE, protective gear, is in place for the students and for the teachers, okay, well then in-person learning shall resume. What is this rush? What is this half-assed shit? This is so typical of America, right? We don't do anything complete, and we certainly don't do it effectively, nor do we do it right on the first time or second or third or fourth or 10th or 20th. We are in year 3 of this. If you are serious about resuming in-person learning, this shit shouldn't even be a fucking question. You should be handing out K95 Math to students and teachers every single day when they walk through the doors. Like, if this is the expectation that in-person learning has to continue at all costs, then do it fucking right. Stop it with this half-assed shit that at the end of the day is costing people their health. If it doesn't outright cost them their lives, it's costing them personal income from money. I mean, there's a cascading reasons that the school's inability to protect the students and the staff, or their unwillingness to do so, is just going to continue with more infection throughout the community, throughout the nation. It's ridiculous. If you could pop up A2 for me real quick. So, guys, I'm going to keep it a buck. I had a tiny bit of difficulty finding good video about this Oakland Unified School District walkout by students and teachers. By the way, the teachers engaged in a labor action, the sick out. Hundreds of teachers called out sick. Woohoo! Shout out to the teachers, and I'm proud and super encouraged to see the students and teachers standing together on this issue, because it impacts them directly, right? Something that all these fucking fuckheads, these niggas in the peanut gallery, these politicians, Joe Biden, leading the rallying call for, you gotta keep schools open at all time, dog. Fuck you. A2, this is from the World Socialist website. Quote, our literal lives are at stake. Students, teachers, parents, back striking students, yes, in Oakland, California. And the World Socialist website reported that actually 1,200 students and teachers walked out / sick out of their school day this week in Oakland, California. So that's one. That's what's happening in Oaktown. Yeah, shout out to Oakland, East Bay. I love that big time. And I wanted to take a look at Chicago. So this was last Thursday. I think it was, yes, last Thursday. Last Thursday. And I had to dig for some of these videos too, because for reasons. But anyway, listen to the kids of the Chicago public school system. Listen to what they say their primary concerns are for returning to in-person learning. And look at the numbers that showed up to tell Lori Lightfoot to kick fucking rocks. I was very encouraged with that. You guys, check out these videos from TikTok user IYSSE. Yes, thank you.
Guys, just say a little bit about why you're walking out and what the protest is about.
I feel like we shouldn't be in school because a lot of people getting sick. There's a lot of teachers missing, and if you feeling sick anyways, you might as well stay home. Even if you have a headache, you gotta go home. So even the littlest of symptoms make you go home. So I feel like through all that, we should stay home and just do online because it'd be better for us.
Nah, yeah, I agree with that. You feel me? A lot of people are getting sick. They're sending people home. A lot of people getting sick. A lot of people dying. A lot of people coming to school. They're not even putting their mask up. So we might as well just stay at the crib where we know we're safe and, do online work away from people.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that, they wanted students back in school for, reasons of mental health and, anxiety and stuff like that. But I don't know. It seems like a lot of students disagree with that. What do you guys think?
I feel like
that's a scam.
They're lying to the media because
the part with the mental health thing is a lie, because I feel like when students at home and online, they have more time to themselves and they can be by themselves to think and stuff. Being in school builds up that anxiety, because there's a lot of people that got COVID and don't know they have COVID, and they're walking around with their masks down, and people are being scared. They're walking around in school and they don't know. Like, I got my mask down too. I'm talking to people. I don't know if I got it now, and they're like building up, making people more scared by being in school.
The kids are all right. The kids are all right out here. Did you hear those brilliant, astute young men talking about, that's just a scam, dog. Don't believe the hype. Talking about the kids are suffering mental anguish. And listen, I don't even dispute that we all are suffering mental anguish as a result of everything that this pandemic has borne upon us, right? Obviously, children most vulnerable and experiencing things probably more intensely than some adults. But let's keep it a fucking buck, man. I mean, a lot of kids, hundreds of thousands of children have experienced a loved one or a caregiver dying as a result of COVID, y'all. That trauma of a premature death, of that kind of sudden loss, of that kind of horrific death. Let's not act like COVID is a heart attack and it just takes you out, you know, right away. It's not a quick thing at all. COVID it's a bad way to go, terrible way to go. And not to be able to visit people in the hospital, not to be able to say goodbye, like these cascading emotional traumas on these children, I think is more damaging and more long lasting and impacting than them having to remote learn for a couple weeks. Big fucking deal. I'm sorry, the kids who play sports had part of their sports season canceled. Yes, it sucks, but guess what? A lot of shit in life sucks, kid. You would rather be here, breathe in the free air. You would rather your parents be here, breathe in the free air, your grandparents, your associates, your loved ones, your teachers. Like, the kids will be okay. Kids will adjust. But what they can't adjust to is sudden and premature deaths, unnecessarily preventable deaths of their loved ones because of this virus, because of the insistence that schools reopen. And last but not least, I wanted to take a quick peek at New York City, because we did see the kids in New York last week, high school children, that is, walk out of classes to protest the in-person learning mandate by New York City Mayor Eric Adams. I'm Eric Adams. I used to be the police. Cornball ass nigga. Anyway, I want you to listen. Again, some of these are TikTok videos. So the first video is actually going to be from the perspective, the point of view of a student who walked out of their classes. And the second one is going to be a teacher who applauded the students' efforts because it actually got, let's say, a policy reconsideration from the Adams administration regarding in-person learning in New York. Let's take a look at that today.
Today, I walked out and led a protest against Mayor Adams in New York City. This is how it went.
Was it easy for them? Were they okay? No. All right then, exactly. Schools need to be shut down for at least 2 weeks, just to get everything under control. Mayor Adams doesn't want to shut down the schools because he's afraid of damaging his own reputation as the mayor, because part of his run was that he wasn't going to shut down schools. I don't think a man's ego should get in between the safety of his citizens. Y'all agree? Yes. I want to thank all of y'all for being out here, because I know that a lot of y'all didn't want to, or it was difficult. So I appreciate all of the support. I didn't think all of y'all was going to come out. That's what we're here for. Keep it respectful, please. Like I said, keep your masks on. If I see y'all roaming the halls, it's going to be a problem. Stay over here. Thank you. If teachers come up to you asking you, please be respectful. Thank you. Remember what we're here for, right? It's not just...
New York City teachers in particular have been saying this since we went back on January 3rd. Like, kids have not been in the room, so they're not learning, and teachers are also out, so they're not learning, making it ineffective. He's not doing this because 7.6% of students have tested positive. He's not doing it because attendance was only 77%. He's doing this because students finally spoke up that they were pissed off and that remote should be an option. On Tuesday, New York City students got up and walked out of their schools in protest of not having a remote option right now during a surge in COVID. Eric Adams is doing this because students have put pressure on him. So keep doing what you gotta do, because you kids have a lot of power and you need to use it.
Aren't you guys so happy and encouraged that these kids are understanding that when they organize, that they do have power? Now, I know as of last week, I want to say January 13th is the date of the articles that I was, encountering regarding the Adams administration reconsidering their position on remote learning. I'm not exactly sure what the latest on this is. So stay tuned. I'll try to figure that shit out. Or if you're up in New York or New Jersey, you know what time it is, tell us. Shit. I'm up in here. I'm always here for the updating of the information. Dave G, thank you so much for being here. What's up, Tyler Hackner? What's going on? I'm Ursula, my darling. Ursula, hello, sweetheart. So yes, the kids are all right. The kids are all right. The kids are taking a very proactive, autonomous step. Like, nope. how about we do not go to school? How about we walk right out this bitch? And I love that the teachers are standing with the students and the teachers and students standing with each other, because obviously it is all of their personal health, the healths of their family members, the people who live in their households, and ultimately their community. And if the government, local, state, federal, is not going to enact some lockdowns massively, broadly, then it is up to individuals to take stands like this, especially those who are being forced to go into institutions like public school buildings. Many of whom, especially in urban areas, are overwhelmingly older, decrepit, lack the resources to have the CDC guideline standards of cleanliness and safety. Like, they're not able to do this. And our politicians are just casually glossing that shit over, or they're outright lying about the preparedness of a lot of these school buildings and the preparedness and the availability of equipment like the KN95 masks and testing, right? So we're going to continue to watch this, but I listen, we don't have a lot of young viewers over here. When I look at our age demographics, I'm like, there are no 13 to 17-year-olds. There's probably like 3 or 4 or 5, 18 to 24-year-olds. Like, we are Gen X heavy on Burn It Down with Kim Brown, but I don't even care. I want y'all to know what the kids are doing, because they're doing brilliant things, and I think we should keep watching them. And I think the organization of Gen Z is going to be a game changer on the political landscape in the coming decades. So shout out to Gen Z. Fuck shit up, kids. I'm with you. Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. Before we go on to the next story block, give us some thumbs up if you're good, if you don't mind. Could you tell everybody you like the show? Thank you. Thumbs up on the show. Subscribe to the show. If you want to support the show, that's easy to do too. Shout out to our patrons, by the way. Patrons, AMA next Friday. Next Friday, we do the Ask Me Anything, the monthly Ask Me Anything that is a Patreon exclusive on the last Friday of every month. So but commit that to memory. The last Friday of every month is when we do our Ask Me Anything. And they're usually pretty fun. I love the Ask Me Anything because I get asked some really good questions. So if you want to participate in next Friday's Ask Me Anything for January 2022, head on over to patreon.com/BIDWKB. You can sign up for the low. We have a very affordable tiers. The lowest tier is at $2 a month, which is like $24 a year, which is, you got $24 for your homie. You got $24. And if you're feeling more generous than that, we appreciate that. And we hope to see you at the AMA next Friday. So moving on to our next story. Where's my joint? I need weed for this because it's sad. And it's sad, and it's a sad reminder of a lot of things. First of all, please don't think that just because Derek Chauvin is in jail that these pigs are still not out here killing us. Yes, they are killing us. Killing us everywhere. Killing teenage girls out in Los Angeles. And they are killing people, apparently, outside of their own homes, minding their business in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So earlier this month, 37-year-old Jason Walker, a father, was in his front yard and then ended up in the street, struck by the truck of an off-duty sheriff's deputy, who then in turn got out of his vehicle and shot Jason a bunch of times. And the police, of course, came out, capes flying, flapping in the wind, for their fellow officer, and said that Jason jumped on the hood of the car, started busting the windshield with a windshield wiper. I mean, there's a lot of conflicting details around the story. And I want to thank Courtney, the SLP. Thank you, Courtney, for sending me the story, because before Courtney had sent the story, I had not heard about this. And I find it kind of interesting that after George Floyd, right? After George Floyd, mainstream media outlets are like, you know what, how about we report these kinds of things just a little bit less? Or if we report them much more quietly, right? Yeah. So if you're not familiar, I'm sorry, I don't know if you guys can hear Youre barking in the background, but pardon her. She's on patrol. If you guys have not heard about what happened to Jason Walker, this story, or this package rather, from NBC News came out this week. I want to say maybe this is 2 or 3 days old, because the body cam video has been released. And again, please view this with a healthy dose of skepticism, because mainstream media defaults largely to the police narrative and to the police accounting of things. So obviously, anytime I show you guys things like this, packages either, from covered by national media outlets or even local media outlets, again, we just immediately start viewing this with a side eye, okay? Because propaganda is extremely real, and the police accounting of incidents is usually what matters to these reporters. So, but again, I don't know. A lot of this shit don't sound right. It don't sound right. So today, let's take a look at that package. This is from NBC News about the murder of Jason Walker, and this was published this week.
That's my son. He's my son.
Tonight, new body cam video released in the ongoing investigation into the death of Jason Walker,
I saw it.
a black man fatally shot by an off-duty white officer.
I just shot him.
You said you shot him?
Yes, he jumped on my car.
The fatal encounter happened Saturday, January 8th. 37-year-old Walker was shot by off-duty Sheriff's Deputy Jeffrey Hash in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Hash then called 911. Aftermath of the shooting caught on cell phone video verified by NBC appears to show a lifeless Walker on the ground. Now, new police body cam video from after the incident released by the Fayetteville Police Department shows Walker's father, Anthony, allegedly questioned by law enforcement, according to police. The father appears to say Walker did jump on the truck.
He jumped up. That fella jumped up on the hood, and he jumped out his car and shot it. Right there, pulled off. Pulled off one of the daggone windshield wipers, and he hit the windshield.
The police department released portions of the body cam footage. They blurred, edited, and removed some information from the video, quote, to protect witnesses' privacy. The city has filed a petition to have all body cam video released, over 20 hours worth, according to the police department. This after competing accounts from alleged bystanders. Elizabeth Rick says she rendered first aid to Walker after the incident.
I need an alcohol pad or something to wipe off his blood. I didn't have gloves or anything, and I was holding the pressure.
Ricks can also be seen in the cell phone video taken by her partner.
Sorry, I'm a trauma and stuff.
Her partner said in a Facebook post they were on the scene and, quote, there was absolutely no reason this officer should have shot this man in the back after hitting him with his truck. In the new body cam video, Ricks and her partner are discussing the incident with an officer.
But he was already on the ground, but he was in the truck and he came up, and I don't know what exactly happened. I don't know if he got onto the car or he was actually hit. I don't know. But I didn't see any pose of threat.
So he was already on the ground and he shot him?
Yeah. It's like he hit him and then got out and then just shot him.
Ricks did not immediately respond for comment. Hash's attorney previously did not comment on those allegations, though says the matter involves self-defense and vehicle defense claims.
All right, so that's this week, okay? And you're hearing very clear accounts from eyewitnesses, especially the white woman there who rendered aid. I mean, she said that Jason was on the ground and Deputy Hash got out of his truck and shot him. But I want you guys to take a listen at what the Fayetteville Chief of Police said 10 days ago. And I'm sorry, Tunde, I realized I did not put an out Q on that. So, oh, okay, you're probably right. So this is from 10 days ago, and this package you're about to see is from ABC 11 in Fayetteville. And this is what the fuck I'm talking about, man. Like, you know, anyway, let me tell you what the fuck I'm talking about when we after we finish watching this package, because this is I'm getting I was mad earlier in the day putting this together, and now I'm getting mad all over again. But I'll let you guys listen to what the Fayetteville chief of police had to say. Now, keep in mind, this is 10 days ago. And what NBC News just reported 3 days ago is that numerous witnesses, or at least one, it maybe sounded like two witnesses with Jason's father there, it said that Jason was on the ground in front of the truck. It appeared as though Jason had been hit by the truck. So why did the Fayetteville chief of police stand up at a press conference and tell the people of Fayetteville, North Carolina, this bullshit that y'all about to hear? Let's take a listen.
Today, during a press conference, Fayetteville Police Chief Gina Hawkins and District Attorney Billy West announcing the SBI and an independent prosecutor will examine the case to avoid conflicts of interest. Hawkins also wanting to clear up what she calls rumors swirling on social media. She says so far there was only one witness who actually reported seeing the incident, according to body camera video. And the off-duty officer's truck has technology tracking speed, braking, and impact, showing there was no crash Saturday.
That black box was crucial to determine that vehicle did not impact anything or anyone. The witness said he was not struck by a vehicle. Investigators noted that a windshield wiper was torn off and the metal portion was used to break the windshield of the truck in several places.
Do you believe it?
I mean, they gotta make it make sense. They're trying to make my cousin seem like he was somebody who was erratic or so, or violent, or just random, you know, but we know him to be a good-spirited person, and he would never do that.
Chief Hawkins says the officer was taken into custody for questioning. His personal firearm was seized. It's not clear how many times Walker was shot and where. And Andrea, Chief Hawkins tells me there is no indication that the two knew each other. Authorities are asking people if they have videos of the incident or if they saw anything to give the SBI a call. Walker leaves behind a teenage son. Family members tell me that he was looking forward to starting a new job in the coming weeks. We are live in Fayetteville. Tim Pulliam, ABC 11.
So you're telling me that a responsible father getting ready to start a new job just decides to up and leave his porch, up and leave his yard, and go jump on some random person's hood of their truck for no reason. Courtney is in the chat saying that they have not released, they being, I suppose, Fayetteville authorities have not released the official cause of death for Jason Walker, but it's been widely reported that Jason was shot 4 times in the back. And I think, Courtney, that is the reason why the details, either coming from the medical examiner or the coroner, I'm not sure what the system is there in Fayetteville, but I'm pretty sure that the reason that they are slow walking these details is because if this man was shot in the back, as witnesses have indicated, why are you shooting down at somebody who is already on the ground on their stomach? If the person is on the ground and you had to get out of your truck, right? If you thought that you were in so much danger, why the fuck did you get out your truck? Why did you get out your truck? Could have stayed safe in your truck. Okay, whatever. So he gets out his truck, cop does, and discovers Jason on his stomach, and he just starts unloading in his back? Like, make it make fucking sense. And as the case in a lot of these officer-involved shootings, as the media likes to drone on about misframing the entire incident, right? No, the cops murdered somebody. You shoot someone in the back, you murdered them. There wasn't no officer-involved shooting. No, the cop murdered him. All indications point to that. I am, first of all, my condolences go out to Jason Walker's family, to his son, to his parents, to those who knew and loved him. This is unacceptable. And I appreciate Courtney sending me the story because it appears as though the good people of Fayetteville are all over it. All over it. It's Cumberland County, Courtney. Cumberland County is a problem, right? And they are down there letting them know, like, no, this is not going to fly, and they're going to get justice for Jason Walker. And the other part of this that bothers me, if you could pop up B3 Tune Day. So as in a lot of places after the uprisings of 2020 regarding the murders of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery, where people were taken to the streets, people were demanding accountability, people were demanding to fund the police at minimum, police reforms, in addition to a bunch of other demands. City of Fayetteville, this is a piece in the Fayetteville Observer. This is back from September. And it says the City of Fayetteville seeks applicants for Police Advisory Board as review board action wanes, right? The problem is that a lot of these reforms that politicians will agree to, right? They are often watered down, they are often toothless, they usually have no sort of real power or authority, no power to levy punishment or suspensions or firings or anything like that. I mean, they might be able to recommend, but these advisory boards and accountability boards, they're just that. They are advisory boards. They get to intake all of the information and they get to make suggestions. Well, the problem is a lot of these advisory boards across the country are filled with people who are former law enforcement, right? Or whom have some sort of very overt relationship or connection to law enforcement. And this, I mean, I'm seeing this happen here locally in Maryland, where in Montgomery County, there is a number of police reforms that have been suggested for the Montgomery County Police. We did a story here on Burn It Down with Kim Brown, or at least made you aware of a story of the young man, 21-year-old Ryan LaRue, who was having a mental health crisis, according to his parents. He had a gun. He was not pointing the gun at the cops, and yet they lit him up with, like, I mean, they shot him so many times. I mean, outrageous. And these are the same complaints that a lot of organizers have, that a lot of the people that end up applying and those who end up being appointed to these boards are overwhelmingly in favor of police. They are not necessarily staffed by activists and people who are really specific about their policy demands for changing police accountability. So they were trying to interview candidates for this Fayetteville Police Oversight Board. And the discussions, let me read to you from this article again from September. Discussions about police oversight in Fayetteville have been ongoing for years, but gained renewed interest after George Floyd's murder in Minnesota in police custody and the subsequent protests for change in the summer of 2020. However, where does the article pick up? Come over here. Fayetteville Observer, tighten up on your website. In Fayetteville, the push for change, discussion among city officials and legislators and local activists who fear that their concerns aren't being taken into account by elected officials. Activists with Fayetteville Police Accountability Community Task Force or accompanying Fayetteville Pact pushed for civilian police oversight authority with an accompanying review board that would include an investigator, an attorney, and data analyst to look into complaints of police misconduct. And the formation of this board, or at least the appointing of people that in the activist community would prefer to be on there, has been dragging, let's put it that way. So watch these police reform efforts in your communities near you and see whom are being appointed to these boards, who is being selected to be on these boards, because a lot of times people who have the loudest and most specific complaints about police conduct are excluded, right? So what the fuck is the point of the board, a toothless board, if anybody with a dissenting voice is not going to be allowed to be on it? And if you have a whole bunch of people that are cop apologists, then what are we really getting done? Nothing. Which is why police reform is a fucking joke. And the only way to reform the police is to abolish the motherfuckers and implement something different entirely. Different entirely. Okay. I want us to move along. Justice for Jason Walker, everybody. We will be keeping you updated on the developments of this horrific murder of this young man. And thank you so much, Courtney, the SLP, for bringing this to our attention. We love you for this. Shout out to North CAC out here. Hey, we got 83 watching us live. Shout out to everyone that's watching us on Twitter. If you are watching us on Twitter at Burn It Down KB, follow us on Twitter. And if you are so inclined, you can now tip us on Twitter. Our Cash App, Venmo, and Patreon links are right there on our Twitter profile at Burn It Down KB. They're making it so easy for people to send people money these days. Like, oh, why don't you link your stuff here and link your stuff there? So, but honestly, like as a small channel, pooling small donations from a variety of different places is what got us in the fire pit. That's what got us in the fire pit. So thank you all so much. Thank you all so much. And by the way, anyway, no, I'm not going to go there. All right, it's cool. It's cool. I want us to move along to the next story, guys, because I have been yammering quite a bit here. That is correct, Patty P, because he is a murderer. Accurate. Yes, one hit of Twitter. Also accurate, Mark X. Mark S. Hey, Latif. Hi, honey. Hello, Latif. Thank you so much, dear. Thank you. You guys fucking rock. I love y'all to death. Next story here on the rundown. By the way, real quick, if you haven't already, please subscribe to Black Power Media. BPM Media, baby. Black Power Media. Good time had by all. My comrades are over there. I do the Remix Morning Show over on Black Power Media Wednesday and Thursday mornings, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern. We usually go over there and cut the fuck up, I have to say. I'm I'm appreciative that they let me come up there and very much unladylike their whole morning show, by the way. Oh, by the way, real quick. So I was watching, because I will rewatch the shows to check out the chat, to see what the chat was talking about, because the BPM chat be rocking too, by the way. We got a lot of overlapping chat heroes betwixt Burn It Down with Kim Brown and Burn It Down with and the Black Power Media. But had it been Thursday? Yeah, was it Thursday I was objectifying the Ghanaian soccer team? I was objectifying the beautiful young bodies, yes. And someone in the chat said, how would BPM react if one of the brothers was objectifying sisters in that way, or young sisters in that way? Let me be very clear. All them boys in that picture was grown, okay? Grown. Over 21, grown. Also, I made no references to nobody's private parts. I was talking about yams. And y'all, are we on the same page? When I say yams, y'all know what I'm talking about. Yams, and the boys got them nice soccer yams. Them yams, they got nice legs. Nice glutes. Anyway, my point is, I didn't think I said anything untoward. And second of all, I could objectify men 10 hours a day for every remaining day of my life, and I assure you, it would not make a dent in the patriarchy. Okay, it would not even put a even minor imperfection into the armor of patriarchy. I could objectify men forever, and I assure you, men will still have power than me, more power than I, at the end of the day. And let me tell you this real quick also. The reason I objectify men is because I don't think men have been subjected to enough objectification, and women and girls become objectified. I think that age range of onset of objectification is debatable, because some people will be like, I had grown-ass men trying to holler at me in elementary school, okay? I'm going to say my level or the age that I recall and can distinctly say that I began to be objectified had to be between ages 12 and 13, right? I'm 43 years old. So I've been objectified by men for 30 years, okay? 30 years. Fellas, I assure you, you have not endured 30 years worth of body objectification. And guess what? It's good for you, and I'm gonna give you some because it's a character builder. I assure you, it builds your character out here to have your body or to listen to women objectify men's bodies or to listen to our LGBTQ non-binary femmes objectify hetero men's bodies, right? Like, I think it's good for y'all. Y'all need to hear that on occasion because guess what? No matter how much I talk shit or even admire the male form, listen, the patriarchy is diminished zero. Zero. I assure you fellas, you still got all the power. Don't you worry your pretty little faces off if I just make a comment about your legs and your ass from time to time. I won't even objectify your junk. See, I'm a fucking lady out here. Listen to me. Anyway, let's move this thing along here. On to the next story. Sorry, I got distracted. Anyway, oh shit, Tunde's gonna fuck me up. It's 6 o'clock. My bad, Tunde. We're gonna get out of here. We're gonna get out of here real quick. Oh, this is an important story, guys. And I will make this brief, but this needs to be meaningful and consequential. Okay. So the treatment, we've seen how our students and teachers are being treated during the pandemic. We already know how our frontline medical staff are being treated, nurses and doctors treated badly. People are leaving the professions by the hundreds of thousands. So if that's how we treat our professional class and how we treat our students, how the fuck do you think the prisoners are faring in the pandemic? I assure you, terrible, terrible. And the stories from penitentiaries from across this country are that of deplorable conditions, unhygienic to say the least, people crowded into cells, into confined spaces, not able to social distance, not given soap to wash up, not given masks, not giving access to vaccines. You understand where this is going. So as a result of these horrific conditions that people have been subjected to, let me start in Rikers today. We're going to go for C2 first. So it would be C2 and then C3. So what's happening at Rikers Island, the prison there in New York City, 200 incarcerated people are on hunger strike right now. Okay, they are protesting the horrific. And again, a lot of these people are there on pretrial detention. Okay, they have not been convicted of anything. They have not pled guilty to anything. They are there because they are simply poor. They cannot afford bail. Okay. And who do you think is in there? Overwhelmingly Black and brown people, right? And another example of the way that the criminal justice system is racially targeted, right? Black people, brown people who are poor and cannot afford bail will sit in a cesspool of COVID and violence that is Rikers Island. And New York City, New York State, the United States of America is perfectly fine with that. Why? Because it's just non-white people. Who gives a shit about them? Who gives a shit about them? So I want us to actually hear from a member of the New York City Council, and this is Carmen De La Rosa. And Carmen visited Rikers Island this week. And let me read to you her tweet, and then we're going to hear directly from Councilmember De La Rosa. They say, today I visited Rikers Island to stand in solidarity with incarcerated people on hunger strike, acting in defiance against a racist system that extracts Black and brown people from our communities each day. So let's take a look at what New York City Council member Carmen De La Rosa had to say when she was standing outside of Rikers Island in solidarity with the 200 incarcerated people there who are currently on hunger strike.
Defiance against a racist, oppressive system that extracts Black and brown men and women from our communities every single day. I represent Washington Heights, Inwood, and Marble Hill, the crosshairs of the record-funded drug laws
Since then, a community that has been targeted and surveilled and imprisoned. I come at this work from the lens of a former state legislator who visited prisons across this state. When I tell you Rikers Island is a crisis, it's because I've seen what happens behind prison walls across this state. That's right. That's right. None of the prisons across New York State are as bad as Rikers Island. That's right. None of them. 16 people have died in Rikers Island. Many people that we know, family members, friends, and loved ones, have been afflicted with COVID-19 inside of Rikers Island. Many of them have been tortured, abused, and now they have to go on a hunger strike for the city of New York to do the right thing. That is shameful.
Beyond shameful. And do you think that new New York City Mayor Eric Adams, you think he's interested in doing anything about that? I doubt it. I doubt it. But there are lots of organizations in New York City that are standing with and supporting the incarcerated folks there at Rikers. And I want us to listen, if we could, from a phone call from someone who was actually behind the wall there at Rikers. And this was posted by the Outlive Them New York City. Yeah, Outlive Them NYC Twitter account, which is, supporting abolitionist efforts there in New York City and supporting incarcerated people and their families. So listen to what someone who's actually on the inside. So let me read this to you. It says, hunger strike on Rikers Island, inhumane and deadly. Yes, conditions in the RNDC jail. So take a listen to this. This is Sound On, to listen to an inside organizer announce the strike, list their demands, and recount the inhumane and deadly conditions. So Tunde, let's take a listen to that, please.
Hi, this is Irvin Bowens. Listen, this is very important. Right now, my unit, we on hunger strike. We got over 9 meals. By the time you get this, we'll probably be on 11th to 12th meal. Is it possible you contact somebody from the media unit right away, and please contact the mayor's office right away. Let them know that we on hunger strike and we have a list of, reasonable, things that we would like bring to the table so we can, get things rolling, such as law library and recreational and mental health service and medical and stuff like that we're not being afforded. The basic, mandatory minimum and standards that for a human being. So we on hunger strike. It's over 200 of us, and please, right away, is it possible that when you get this message, maybe you could post it on media and have your friends post it so we can get some type of attraction on this, and as well as all media contacts, right away. That's all I ask for is just a little help. Appreciate it. Thank you. And you have a blessed day, all right? Stay safe.
So please follow Outlive Them NYC on Twitter. They have posted a thread of actions that we can take, right? And they have posted links there for donation, for support, for resources. And also they're doing a phone zap in which they have also had a script posted there as well. I'm gonna copy and paste that in the show description later. I meant to do that earlier and I didn't. So if you watch the show later, look in the show description and you're going to see some of the direct actions that the folks are asking that you take into support those who are on hunger strike. And guys, I mean, it really continues on. I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, I'm thinking about the Parchment Prison in Mississippi. I'm thinking about the people that are in the Cook County detention in outside of Chicago. Like, I mean, all these stories are horrific. So in addition to the COVID, there are still a number of mostly Black and brown people who are being found dead in their jail cells. And the CEOs be like, well, we don't know what the fuck happened. What the fuck you mean? You don't know what the fuck happened? Like, that is your fucking job to ensure prisoner safety, right? Like, isn't that the whole reason why prisons get such an outsized portion of state and federal funding? Because they need the bodies literally in order to guarantee their money. So that you had one fucking job. Your job here is to keep people alive. But because of the color of these people and the economic and class status of these people, when black people die behind bars, it's a big shrug. We don't know what the fuck happened. So I want us to take a look, if we could, at the story that has been happening. I'm so sorry. Can you guys hear all that barking? Can you hear that barking, Tunde? It sounds ridiculous. It sounds like the hounds of the Baskervilles are in my living room, so I apologize for that. But this is a very serious story, and I want you guys to check out some reporting from Spectrum News LA's Kate Cagle. Kate Cagle does pretty good work out there in LA. I ain't mad at what Kate Cagle is doing. This is the story of Jelani Lovett. And you're going to hear from Jelani's mother about how her son, who was in solitary confinement, he was in lockdown 23 hours a day. He died of a heroin overdose, heroin laced with fentanyl. He was in lockdown. How the hell did that happen? We know how that happened. But you need to know what happened to him and his story. So let's take a listen to Kate Cagle's reporting here.
She should have been celebrating her son's 28th birthday, but instead, Terry Lovett was outside Men's Central Jail Wednesday protesting his death.
They have a responsibility when they take people in that jail to protect and to serve them as well as us.
Jelani Lovett was about to be transferred out of Men's Central to state prison. Instead, deputies found him dead in his cell on September 22nd last year, 2 years to the day after he'd been arrested for robbery. After months of protests and questions, his mother only got the startling autopsy this week that his death was ruled a fentanyl and heroin overdose.
He's been in lockdown, okay? He's 23 hours a day. How did he get some fentanyl and heroin? One of them, he had no inmate contact. So how did he get it?
The Sheriff's Homicide Bureau investigates every death in their custody and says they have no idea how drugs got into Jelani's single-person cell, but added it's not uncommon to find drugs inside Men's Central. 50 people died in Sheriff's Department custody last year, according to Melissa Camacho Chung, a senior staff attorney with the ACLU, and the circumstances are often unavailable.
LASD does not have to make deaths public, especially as they occur. So there's a real lack of transparency and a lack of understanding from the public of what the Sheriff's Department is doing to try and decrease the deaths and make sure that people stay alive when they're in custody.
Spectrum News LA, Kate Cagle, they're reporting of people. This is why abolitionists continue to pull our hair out because there is no reforming a system in which people are placed in cages and treated to subjected to inhumane conditions, and somehow illegal drugs get into a prison where I would assume aren't prisons supposed to be dry places? Is there not no alcohol, no drugs is what my take on prison is, yes? And people shrug their shoulders. Well, we don't know how the heroin and fentanyl got in there. Well, the only people that had contact with him was the correctional officers. And Courtney said in the chat that the CEOs are the real criminals. Undoubtedly. So it's a very clear-cut case as to why prisons should be closed, why police should be defunded and abolished, because the prevention of overdoses and murders and drug dealing, it does not seem to stop at the penitentiary gates, does it not? So why do we continue to pour billions into a system that continues to exacerbate the problems of addiction, to exacerbate the issues of violence in our society, period, and to try to rehabilitate violent offenders in a place that is filled with violence? Let me share this with y'all because I talk more about this on AMA with patrons, but I'll share this with y'all since y'all here. So you all know, 5 years ago, my brother was murdered, and the person who murdered him was 16 at the time. And over these years, I have been working on restorative justice efforts. Like I'm learning what that restorative justice process is and what that's like. And actually, if you go to like maybe like one of our earlier videos, it's early in the channel, the woman who has been helping me in Hawaii because my brother was killed in Waikiki Beach. Her name is Lauren Walker. She is a big, I say big, but she's an active advocate for restorative justice on the island. And so long story short, I gave a victim impact statement at the boy. Like I said, he was 16 at the time, so he's 21 now. At the boy who murdered my brother, I gave a victim impact statement at his sentencing. And I said, listen, this is fucked up what he did. Like, make no question about it. But at the same time, I don't think that we should be in the business of throwing away 16-year-olds for the rest of their life. Like, I'm the victim here, and I still don't subscribe to that, right? So long story short, the boy, who is again 21 now, has been moved from Hawaii Penitentiary to Arizona because apparently this is quite common. He, in a deal with a private prison operation in Arizona, Hawaii routinely sends a lot of its prisoners to Arizona. Had no idea. And as a consequence, the advocate on the island who I've been speaking with, Lauren Walker has been in touch with this boy's mother. And she was trying to facilitate a meeting between she and I, right? So we could talk. Because I'm interested about his background, what led him to this point. Like, how did he get to be murdering my brother randomly on the street, right? I have questions. Right? And I was trying to convey, and I think, and I meant this, right? I have empathy for this woman, right? This woman has also lost somebody. She has lost her son. And Lauren has been talking to her and talking to me. We were going to have a meeting, but then the lady changed her mind because she thinks that I'm going to come at her with like anger and judgment, which I'm not, and I tried my best to convey that, but I don't fault her for her decision. Again, this is traumatic for her as well. So, but I said that to say that Lauren informed me that the mother is only able to speak with the son 15 minutes a month. And I don't know these people's ethnicity. I don't know if they're Native Hawaiian. I don't know. There's a lot I don't know. But I think it is inhumane to send prisoners thousands of miles away from their family, away from any sort of support. And I know the law and order folks would be like, well, Kim, you'll never hug or talk to your brother again. I understand that. And that is finite and that is unchangeable, right? But what is able to be changed is this young man's outcome. Okay. I don't doubt that he's suffering right now. I know that he is. But we have to approach the way that we look at our people in prison way different. Because if the goal is rehabilitation, then you have to approach them with compassion and humanity, okay? I understand people do fucked up things, but guess what? People make mistakes. Just because you make a mistake, that should not define you, right? That should not define everything that you do from that moment onward in your life. And if your worst mistake happens to come when you're 16 years old, then what does that say for the opportunities for you and for the impacts on your community subsequently for the next 50 or 60 years of your life, right? We just can't be disregarding people. And COVID has exposed how much worse our people who are incarcerated get disregarded. And it's wrong. This system has to crumble. Like, this system has to go away. Even if we have to go out there and dismantle that bitch brick by fucking brick, we have to let people out. And again, I struggle with this. The boy who killed my brother, right? He killed him. Do I think he should be let out of jail? again, I struggle with this because I don't think that jail is going to make him better. I don't think it's going to make him better. I don't think it's going to disincentivize him from killing people. Shit, he might learn how to become a better killer in jail. You understand? So what did we actually accomplish here? What do we accomplish here? If we send him away for a decade plus and he learns how to become a better killer, what do? Abolish prisons, abolish the police, defund and abolish the fucking police, abolish the prison. There has to be a better way. And there are better ways, guys. And we will find better ways. Mark S., thank you so much for your super chattage, sir. Last thing I want to do before I leave, real quick, Mark S. said, hey, if the cop that shot Laquan McDonald is getting out, no reason for a life sentence for stealing pieces. You already know what time it is, Mark S. And we know that the cops that do go to jail, I bet you Derek Chauvin has probably got a very cushy situation as penitentiary life goes. There's no doubt about that. Last thing I wanted to get at, and this is going to be extremely brief, and shout out to everyone that's watching us right now. Please give us a thumbs up and a subscribe if you don't mind, if you don't mind. I just wanted to point out to you all, and again, this is me preaching to the choir. We are all very like-minded individuals here. We understand that the two-party system is equally some bullshit. We understand how media makes acceptable our labor exploitation and the political ineptitude from elected officials. Like, that is just part and parcel and just rendered as acceptable. But just real quick, I wanted to put these three clips together. Now, these three clips are similar in their sentiment, okay? Racism remains bipartisan. Please make no mistake. Now, Senate Majority Leader, the Minority Leader, Mitch McConnell, even though it seems as though Republicans are actually in the majority in the Senate, because ain't shit moderate about Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. I don't know what the fuck them niggas on NBC News be talking about. They be like, moderate Joe Manchin? Bitch, what the fuck is moderate about Joe Manchin? Joe Manchin appears to me to be quite conservative. I mean, I know, is it just me? I didn't think so. Anyway, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. I apologize for my nose running. All in your face. To pay me no, never mind. Said the quiet part out loud this week. I'm sure you've heard this clip already. Mitch McConnell disputing after the John Lewis Voting Rights Act failed to pass in the Senate, disputing that voting access is a challenge for Black Americans, okay? That's the first clip. And the second clip, but what Mitch does in this clip, by the way, it is a very casual otherization of non-white people, okay? Particularly non-white Americans, right? People whose nationality is American, people who have been born here and whose ancestors have been in this rotten fucking colony for generations, right? But certain classes of white folks like Mitch McConnell, Joe Biden, and Chuck Todd seem to when they think of American, they think white, duh. And then everybody else, who said that? Toni Morrison. America, in this country, when you say American, America means white. Everybody else has to hyphenate. Okay, I'm paraphrasing the great Toni Morrison there, but yes, everyone else has to hyphenate. African American, Cuban American, Jewish American, Asian American, Native American, but no, regular American by itself always means white, baby. It always means white. Tunde, run that D1 montage, if you could, for me, sir. Thank you.
What's your message for voters of color who are concerned that without the John L. Lewis Voting Rights Act, they're not going to be able to vote in the midterm?
Well, the concern is misplaced because if you look at the statistics, African American voters are voting in just as high a percentage as Americans.
We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. wealthy kids, black kids, Asian kids. No, I really mean it, but think how we think about it.
Teach us how to think, not what to think.
At what
and
age?
I wouldn't want my
Is there an
child
age restriction in
to
your
go
mind?
to a school.
You know, there's this
About teaching what?
Teaching sort of when it comes to teaching our past. You know, there's this, and I think it's just coming basically through a racial lens. But there's this, you know, parents are saying, "Hey, don't make my kid feel guilty," and you know, and I know a parent of color is going, "What are you talking about? You know, I've got to teach reality." When do you do it, and how do you do it?
Well, I think you should just think a little bit about your framing. You said parents, and then you said parents of color. So the
white parents and parents of color.
White
fair
parents
point. Yeah.
are not representing. As a matter of fact, white parents are representing fewer than half of all public school parents,
right.
And yet they have an outsized voice in this debate.
Yeah, guys, in a lot of ways, the white is very silent. Noli D, thank you so much for your super chat, sweetheart. We appreciate that. And listen, I know that those clips happened at different points in times, and the context perhaps is a little nuanced from clip to clip, but the overall sentiment is the same, is it not? I continue to be befuddled by black patriots, by non-white patriots, even people who I think have good intentions. I saw a tweet from U.S. senatorial candidate. I think Charles Booker has officially announced his his candidacy to run for Senate, to run for the Democratic nomination to be Senator of Kentucky. And I saw him reply to Mitch McConnell's, statement, and Charles Booker said something to the effect, my people have been here. I'm all American. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sir. I like you, Charles Booker. I love you so much. But at the same time, we have to drop this faux patriotic bullshit, because these not our white friends who are here with us, whom we love and cherish, but them crackers is never going to accept us as Americans. And the sooner that we get that shit through our heads and behave accordingly and conduct ourselves accordingly as if this country is not ours. I understand that our foremothers and fathers built the shit. I get that. But we will be 3/5 onward henceforth. And not because of any failings or shortcomings of us. The failings is that racists will never recognize our humanity. They will never recognize our ownership. That's why they will always fight us tooth and nail on everything from the accurate teaching of American history to the allowing of Black Americans and non-white folks to have equal and easy access to the ballot box in order to vote, to reparations. These motherfuckers don't even think they did anything wrong. They cut y'all a check for what? That shit, that y'all tripping off old shit. Slavery. That was a long time ago. So I just want us to please continue to disavow ourselves of any sort of misplaced patriotism you or your loved ones may have. Because if you are Black American, and shit, if you are an N-word lover in this country, whites in this chat, if you are an N-word lover, you get the N-word treatment. So y'all assed out too. They will call you a traitor and a race traitor at the same time that they calling us the N-word and telling us to go back to Africa. Bitch, please send me back to Africa. The tip information is in the bio. Please find it and make generous contributions. Honey, I will go back to Senegal mañana. I will go to Panama hasta semana. You know what I'm saying? Like, as soon as possible. Like, please don't fuck around. Please don't play games with me. Don't tell me to go back to Africa. I will set up my GoFundMe tonight. Bitch, I will be there. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with y'all. American means white. It has always meant white. This is, as our indigenous brothers and sisters say, this is Turtle Island. This is a whole colony. We are the colonized, honey. We are not the colonizers. If you are non-white in America, you are the colonized. This country will never be yours. And the sooner that we accept that, then the easier I think it will be for us to organize and take back what is officially ours, which is all the fucking capital that this goddamn country has, that we created, that we continue to create off of our underpaid labor, right? Anyway, let me hop off this here soapbox. Jonathan Guerrero, I love you, sweetheart. What's Jonathan Guerrero got to say for that wonderful super chat? Jonathan says, eventually, they'll push people into a Haitian Revolution 2.0 like Babylon burn. Burn, more fire upon Babylon. Yes. Hey, Jonathan, I'm waiting. And we need soldiers. We need soldiers like yourself. We need soldiers like, the fallen Chris Dorner. Like, we need soldiers. You understand? You guys get where I'm going? Oh shit, the FBI probably gonna be knocking on my door because Tucker Carlson about to snitch because I done said something nice about Chris Dorner out here. And I stand by that shit too. So fuck off. So anyway, that's the show, everybody. Please enjoy your weekend. Also, Omicron, COVID, still in the year of our Lord 2022, very much jumping on people. K95 or N95 Math, social distance, wash your hands, get your vaccination, do something, goddammit. Just try to keep this fucking disease off of you for as long as you possibly can. Please hit up Alicia, ALLICIASBAG, the $, Alicia's bag. Help out our good sis, Alicia. Alicia, I hope you put your Venmo in the chat. So send Alicia some love. Happy belated birthday, Frowny friends. On behalf of me, Tunde, and Molly, thank you all so much for your continued love and support of Burn It Down with Kim Brown. We love you guys, man. See y'all later.